Hello Internet, welcome back to Jams by Jesh. I'm Jesh, and today we are going to talk about my favorite video game character, Kirby. Or more specifically, we're going to talk about the music from the Kirby franchise. What makes it so unique, what makes it so amazing, what makes it so happy, and why we all love listening to it so much. So buckle up, grab some food, share it with your homies by kissing them on the mouth, and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more Jams by Jesh content. Without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's go through a little background information about the composers for Kirby. Kirby is mostly composed by Hirokazu Ando and Jun Ishikawa. Hirokazu Ando gave an interview to Forbes magazine that I am going to refer to a lot during this video. The first thing that was important when creating the music for Kirby is the limitations that were put upon the creators. When composing for the NES and for the Game Boy, they only had 3 sound channels to work with, so they were limited in the scope of the music that they could write. Thus, this led to a lot of the specific creative decisions that they ended up taking. A lot of the time, people think that limitations can, limit the music that you write. But, the fact is, when you have these limitations, you're sort of forced to think outside of the box. These limitations force creativity. Another interesting thing about the sound of Kirby is the tempo that the composers apply to their music. Most of the Kirby songs are fast. They're exciting. They keep you frenetic. That's the word that they use. In the interview with Forbes that Hirokazu did, he said, "For a character like Kirby, who's exceptionally nimble, despite having stubby arms and legs, I feel like the most suitable type of music has a fast tempo with frenetic transitions, as if the music notes themselves are dancing around. Music like that naturally ends up having a richness don't get tired of hearing." And I feel like that's very true. When I think Kirby music, I think Gourmet Race, I think Butter Building, I think Green Greens. All these songs that are fast, that are exciting, that keep you in the spirit of running. Another important thing that the composers of Kirby do is they use motifs and they repeat them over and over again. As Ando was saying in the interview, I like to choose a phrase that will be the theme of my music and create variations on it by making slight changes to the form and style. That's why the songs I write tend to repeat the same phrase or have remixed phrases, while the transitions and actual notes are frenetic and complex. This style lends itself very well to video games, for one thing, because we tend to go at our own paces, so it allows for repetition in ways that don't get tiring. But it also is what legitimizes. As Adam Neely says, repetition legitimizes. The more you hear an idea or a motif or a theme, the more it becomes ingrained in your brain, and the more we train ourselves to accept it. That's what makes this style so effective. And it's that repetition of motifs that allows composers like Ando Nishikawa to add more subtle nuances to the music and pay very close attention to detail. This makes, every song have a backbone of these familiar motifs, but then it's subtle instrumental changes, subtle tonal changes, subtle tempo changes that really stick out to us. As Ando was saying in the interview, when I'm composing Kirby music, I'm more focused on the minute details in the tone and texture of the sound that people don't tend to notice, rather than on the strong emotional elements. It's hard to put into words, but I'm trying to emphasize the subtle yet unique ideas. This just goes to show, Ando and Ishikawa, even though they are repeating the same ideas, they're adding variety in fresh and exciting ways that don't interfere with the familiarity that we develop with their music. Really, if I were to summarize the style of Ando Nishikawa, I would say it's a blend of complexity and simplicity. They use these simplistic motifs to keep listeners interested. They keep the tempo fast, they keep the key major, they keep things exciting, but then they have these frenetic transitions and they have these exciting individual components to each of their pieces. They use unique timbres, they play things that aren't possible to be played. It adds this really interesting layer to the music that isn't really prevalent in other sounds. It's not real, it's not feasible, it's unique, and it's uniquely Kirby. And though I said that they work hard to make music that isn't playable, that isn't real, that is electronic, they still go out of their way to add human elements and add small things that listeners can attach themselves to. As Ando said in the interview, if anything, I'd say that working to portray more of the small things is what makes the game world feel real, and that naturally gets people more emotionally invested. They care about the world that they're developing. They want you to feel like it's there, and to do that they give you something to hold on to. Whether it's a real instrument like a xylophone, or a real sound, or some sort of small little detail. Something that really stuck out to me in the interview that Ando did is when he was asked about his favorite composers. He mentioned John Williams as one that he listens to a lot, and I think that that influence shows a lot in the music, especially in the leaps that his compositions take. John Williams' biggest themes all have these dramatic leaps, these plagal or perfect cadences that really stand out to the listeners and get everyone excited. They get everyone moving. And Kirby implements those same dramatic leaps that John Williams is famous for. It deserves reiterating. Part of what makes this music great is that Ando likes this style of music. He's composing music that he wants to listen to. Same with Ishikawa. They're composing music that they like, that they want to listen to. It's like when they say write what you know, but with writing music. You want to do something that is personally fulfilling. You want to do something that gets you thinking in a way that you like thinking. As Ando was saying, by composing music based on the conceptual details that I'm personally tuned into, elements that reflect my originality as a composer are naturally incorporated into my work without me intentionally doing so. By picking music that Ando likes, it becomes an extension of him. We see him as a composer in the music that he composes. And last but certainly not least, something that these composers do, that Nintendo as a whole does really, is even though they keep a broad appeal, they know they keep that broad appeal, and they keep their audience in mind. Ando really put it best, so I'm going to quote him here. Nintendo music has a very attractive simplicity and likability that stays with you and can't be found anywhere else. That applies to Nintendo games overall too, not just the music. I think it's great that they keep a broad audience in mind, rather than just focusing on a narrow target. The conventional wisdom is usually that it's easier to create when you have a target that's as clear and narrow as possible. But Nintendo purposefully widens their view to create products that become worldwide hits. I'll always admire the incredible ability and passion of everyone at Nintendo. There you have it. They know their audience, and their audience is everyone. Alright everyone, that's all for today. Hope you all enjoyed talking about our lovable pink puffball. I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.